and it's showing all of that damage and weariness. So that's the Invictus Challenge. These are smaller pieces than our Masters of the Universe artworks, and they are meant for an A5 size format, which makes for a nice little small illustration, hopefully one and done illustration. In the other weeks that following, we are doing a live trading card painting session next week, which is exciting. Oh, look at that Ghost Rider. This trips me out every time. And then the following week, we are back to our 52 Masters of the Universe drawing challenge, which we've been doing for about a year now. And so off and on, I say off and on for a year because we did have a bit of a hiatus there. We were doing jobs, but welcome. And that's what it is. We are doing those in rounds of 3, and hopefully it makes for entertainment viewing. And on our perspective, it keeps us bouncing from something fresh and new each time to tackle our undiagnosed ADHD.
Indeed.
If you're joining us for the first time, welcome to it. Please like and subscribe what we do and comment on YouTube's. It always helps to get the word out there and to keep growing our audience so that we can keep doing these on bigger scales and have great interaction with us during this session. If there's things that you want to ask, or if there's comments that you need to make, or just join in on the funny talk that we have as we go through about pop culture, news, and everything else, feel free to do that as well. Kenny, did I miss anything?
No. I think you hit everything. All the notes, as it were. So one of the really, really interesting things that we will be bringing to our programming, right, is the trading card stuff, right? So
Yes.
Will and I have gone through the troubles of branding our own sketch cards, right? These are
Indeed.
mine there, right? And cardstock is pretty chunky, pretty hefty, so you can expect that a lot of the work that we put on these will be hand painted, and it'll be taking a lot of the wet media that we apply on it, so you can get something really, really cool. And I know that there'll be a handful of people that are a part of the secondhand market there, right? If you do your searches, you'll see that these bad boys are being flipped for a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Will is out there like making a name for himself with the work that he did on the recent Star Wars. Was that Star Wars Antiques?
Antiquities.
Antiquities.
The brand? Yeah, Antiquities.
Yes, and beautiful work, absolutely beautiful work.
Thank you. I was lucky in the sense that they also gave incredibly thick cardstock because they're a premium product, so that was handy. That was
of course, because when you get, and this goes out to any like license holder out there, right? Like, it behooves you to give us a really good card stock because we're able to really flex our muscles on the artwork.
Well, you get a quality piece. You get a better quality product.
Of course, we're able to build up the layers. Otherwise, you kind of get I mean, granted, we're never gonna give you something that's of low quality, because at the end of the day, it's our reputation, right? But it always behooves one to give us a hefty cardstock. It behooves one to give us a hefty cardstock so that we can build up our layers and really give you something
stretch out. Absolutely. So Chris Borman's joining us here today. He's soldering pipes right now. I'm assuming that's a plumbing thing. Please say it is, Chris. Don't make me double guess. Although, actually, no, make me double guess. It's way more fun. Here's a question. How many pieces did I do for the Star Wars? I did 40 cards for the Star Wars
Ooh.
set.
Hefty.
Yeah, so it was a bit chunky. I might show you guys later on if I get a chance to bring it up as a PDF because I haven't loaded that expecting that question, but I'll see what I can do. There you go. So
Yeah, that's a big undertaking to do 50, and those were like postcard size, right? Those were like 5x7.
yeah, right, they were. Yep. So they were big, but you know what? It allowed to get, like we talked about, to get the thicker layers, to get the higher level of detail.
Yes.
It made things a lot more, I don't know, made more premiere set than I've done for previous ones. Not because I didn't put 100% into them. It's more to do with the fact that you just squeeze more in when it's thicker cardstock and they're bigger. So
right.
I have been revealing them on YouTube. You can always jump onto the YouTubes and have a look.
Indeed.
And Instas and all that kind of stuff. So, although Chris, you're revealing too much again. It's a plumbing thing. Okay, well that just took all of the romance out of it.
I did see that on the Facebook feed that Chris is having some or he's taking care of a plumbing issue.
I saw that was some septic tanks or something, wasn't it? Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, he took a picture of the plumbing debacle. Right?
Yeah.
Oh man,
yes,
they got my man Chris out here struggle in the trenches.
Yes, living the dream, or maybe not living the dream. I don't know. Doing his thing. Doing his thing.
Indeed.
How's your week been, Kenny?
The week has been very, very busy, very, very productive. Got some books that I'm storyboarding out at the moment, doing some cover work. I'm on like two, possibly three, I think, Kickstarter campaigns. So like, that's always fun.
Yeah.
Then there's, the work that's being done for Tops.
Yep.
Right. I don't need to elaborate on that. And the work that's being done for Upper Deck.
Yep.
And all the auxiliary like commissions that I get like outside of those circles.
Yep.
So it's been pretty busy, dude. Pretty busy. That I'm thankful for, right? Because being busy is a blessing.
That's right, indeed. It's better than crickets.
Very true. Very true. Now, where is my wallet? Oh, there it is. What? Corvette is in the chat.
Look who it is. Look who it is.
There she is.
She's back. The return of Corvette. People were wondering, where is Corvette?
I was wondering. Where's Yvette?
It's like a scene of never-ending story. We're just looking for Corvette.
Yes.
And all we found was the Rock Creek and the weird bat thing, but we couldn't find Corvette.
He is back. Welcome, Yvette. I'm hoping that you're doing well. It's good to see your name pop up on the screen.
Nearly got all the crew back. I've just got to step away just for a sec, Kenny, because I've just got to get some sealing tape, which I've left inside, but I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. I'm grabbing my water, getting things set up over here. So we're gonna get ready to dive into this momentarily. I was in the process of kind of gathering all my things here, right? So the general premise of what we're doing tonight, for those of you that are just joining us, for those that are in my YouTube audience, I'm streaming this live to my YouTubes, my Facebook. Tonight we're in the INVICTUS mode, right? So it's Hawkgirl versus Ghost Rider, right? These characters are selected at random, in which case, we are like respectively to illustrate or paint these characters in a post-battle scene, right? So for me, right, what I did, I got Ghost Rider, right, and I love painting Ghost Rider. I went with OG Ghost Rider, I got him kneeling here. I got his motorcycle behind him. You know, the flames have been put out, so it's going to be like ashen, and there's going to be like some embers of fire kind of floating upward. But to tie it back to what Will is painting with Hawkgirl, I have Hawkgirl's mace here in the foreground, right, with the broken handle, and I have Ghost Rider's other, like, half of his chain, like, strewed on the floor there. So a lot of that is going to be painted in today, right? I was able to get the bulk of Ghost Rider on the last episode of Invictus. So what Will is going to be doing today is, Will was, to say the least, a bit unhappy with what he did with
Thickly.
evidently he was unhappy with what he did with Hawkgirl. So he's redrawn his Hawkgirl,
Yes.
right, to suit the theme of what we're doing with this battle. And give us a little background on what you did new, Will.
So without a vet in the chat to keep us back online, and I didn't have any research or background or archives to work on because she was absent. For whatever reason, a vet, that's your thing, but I blamed
Shame on
you.
her.
I hate people when they're not to blame. Yeah, so
Yes.
I think by the time I got carried away and I was doing the Hawkgirl and I enjoyed painting it, I enjoyed the size. But then when I got to the end of it, I realized it wasn't what really the challenge was about. I'd veered away from that. And it's a post-battle challenge, not a mid-battle challenge. And I'd done one that was kind of in battle still. I kind of wanted the event afterwards. So I redrew it. So I'm much happy with this pose. Sort of sitting on the rock with the Ghost Rider's chains wrapped around it. And I've done some significant sort of damage on her clothing, and she's got some scratches and damage there like that. And some of her wings, you can see the wings, I go right to the top here. Some of her wings, they'll be down to the stem. So I'll take the feathering off, and it'll just be stem work there happening, which I'm thinking I might do some wash and overlay with grey watercolor pencil just to get the feathering nice, because let's face it, if I was to paint every feather, it would be hours and hours and hours. So just for our streaming purposes, I'll be doing a bit of a mixed media for the feathers only. But I'm hoping, like I drew this up last night, so I'm hoping that I can get it knocked on the head today. That's the plan.
I gotta say that I do love the rework. I like the perched composition.
Yes.
I think that's I don't think I've ever seen anything like that from you before. So that does feel really, really good. There's a bit of drama to it. Just the overall composition. I mean, I like the open wing. That came out really, really well done.
Thanks, man. And I think too, just having, I leaned on my wildlife stuff background for that, but I've left a fair amount of negative space on the page too, which I kind of like. Yeah. Like I've got this nice breathing area here, and I think that'll be nice when sort of we put it into a book format, Yes. So we could even include some of the write-up here.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, so keeping those things in mind. Ryan Permerson is joining us here today.
Welcome.
Good to hear from you, Ryan. Haven't spoke to you in a while.
Humbly.
Ryan hosts a very, very successful YouTube channel. You should get on there and follow that. Ryan,
absolutely, Ryan.
Give us a plug in the chats and we'll put it up on the screen.
Absolutely.
All right, so right now I'm going to start layering straight away. I'm going to start getting the flesh tones in there, getting those done. And as you can see, even by the size of my brush, it's a way smaller format than the Masters of the Universe we do. That is quite, like I would say, most of the Masters' faces alone are probably the size of Hawkgirl's torso. So
new brush?
no, I've got a few of these ones. They're pretty good. The Roy Max. They last. Mikadors and Roy Max. They last forever.
Man, that's a crispy looking brush.
Yeah. I got a stack of them here. I do use these, the Mikador smaller ones. But
Yeah.
Roy Mac is the brand. They are really good. I find that even in classrooms, and you've got to have pretty steady brushes in a classroom. They take a good flogging.
Oh yeah.
You got,
Yeah. I'm gonna need that info.
yeah.
I'm
Roy
gonna
Macs
need
last
that info
forever.
once we get off the chat.
Yeah, man. And I soak them in fabric softener every month or so at school, and that just keeps all the bristles soft. So, and fluing. Yeah, here we go. Here's Ryan's
Yes,
link
and that
tree.
quote.
And I quote is the excellent YouTube channel that he's got quite a following there now. Jump on there and listen to incredible interviews, insights, lots of movie quiz stuff if you love that kind of gear and loves his Star Wars as we do.
Yeah, watch alongs, ton of stuff.
We do love a good bit of Star Wars. And first opening chat discussion. How does he feel? How do we feel about the upcoming Superman movie with Hawkgirl in the mix? We've talked a bit about this, Kenny.
So wait, say that one more time.
His question is, how do we feel about the upcoming Superman movie with Hawkgirl in the mix? And I just said we've talked a little bit about the Superman movie in previous.
That's true. That's true. Yes, we have. I do have positive feelings. I have positive feelings, right, with regards to a legit Hawkgirl, right? Like I'm not like I know that a lot of people have had their opinions with regards to how the heroes look in the new Superman film. Now, I did read in an article that it's not supposed to be the Justice League yet.
Yeah.
Or the JSA.
Right.
But it is a faction of superheroes that's run by like a government or something. That's why like all of the heroes that we saw in the preview, right, are seemingly wearing a uniform.
Right. Okay.
Right.
I hadn't picked that up.
Yeah, like that's why, Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific, they all they're wearing a very similar color scheme.
Okay.
With the exceptions of, the little nuances that make them unique, right, respectively.
Right.
Hawkgirl has the same color scheme in her top and trousers, we have the separation of her helmet and mace, right? Because that's unique to her. But then Guy Gardner, he's wearing, a jacket that's in the same color scheme. However, he's got the hints of green. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you look at the trailer one more time, right, and you pay close attention to the other heroes that aren't Superman, right?
Which
They
is hard.
all look like they're wearing a uniform.
Right. Look, I'm a big advocate for uniforms because, let's face it, I don't like to have to think in the morning. I just want to throw it on.
Yeah.
Throw it on, go to work,
That's it.
Don't have to worry. It's a great social equalizer.
That's it. You know what I mean? Now, I am very optimistic with what James Gunn is doing. So far, James Gunn hasn't let me down. So far, he hasn't let me down once. Creature Commandos, fire, right?
Yeah.
Peacemaker, really entertaining. The Suicide Squad, excellent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, so far, so good.
Did you watch Blue Beetle? Was Blue Beetle part of his?
No. That was actually the last film before he took over. But he does intend on keeping the actor as Blue Beetle moving forward.
Right. Okay. I was going to say that's a bit rough on that guy.
Yeah.
The man
Yeah.
of the film just before the reset.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But no, he got caught up like on the tail end. That was like one of the last DC films from the previous regime.
Yeah,
Before James Gunn came in and took over.
right.
So they do intend on keeping him, but I'm optimistic.
Yeah,
I love a good Superman story. I know that some of the casting choices weren't what most people expected.
right.
But then again, if you look back at almost every turn when they announce a new DC film, and particularly with DC films, particularly,
Yeah,
right? There's always like a public, complaint about casting,
yeah.
right? They complained with Michael Keaton.
They complain with Christopher Reeve.
They complained with Christopher Reeve.
Complained.
You know what I mean?
Ryan's
Like,
got a couple of things here. He says we got to get you guys back on the and I quote set. Let's
I
go.
like it. I like
Yes.
it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Kenny gives that the stamp of approval. He likes it. And he said
Let's
one
do
way or
it.
another, we're going to get you both to a convention in the northeast of US.
Yes.
There are requirements. There's, we're delicate geniuses, Ryan. I'm just saying. Fresh mangoes every morning. There's requirements.
Fresh mangoes.
Yes.
Cut diagonally. If they're not cut diagonally, I send it back.
Kenny's chair has to be velour. Velour has to be. And hog purple in color. I prefer an emperor's throne myself. I just like the swivel. The swivel action's good. Just enough for my little tippy toes to touch the ground. just touching the ground so he can sort of skilly do over to the TV remote. Or drag himself to the boardroom. He's always away from that boardroom table. How can you take him seriously? And he's kind of slumped in the chair. It looks like he's got, I don't know. Poor old emperor.
Oh, yeah.
There you go, Ryan.
Oh,
Chris
man.
Borman has crossed the streams and helped us to link it all together. David Prowse actually helped Christopher Reeve walk off the soup. See, look at that. It's all linked. It's all linked. There's synchronicities happening everywhere.
I love it.
So, yes, I would love to do a convention again, Ryan. I'm sure Kenny's all over it too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This year, I'm doing a select few cons. But next year I'll have a bit more flexibility. So on odd years, I can go all the way in, as it were. on the odd years, right? On even years, rather, like even numbered years, I can go in.
Yeah.
On odd years, I got to be a bit more selective for family.
Yes.
Right? Gotta make time for the fam.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's out there now. We know about the mangoes. We know about the tropical fruit. You prefer flowers after every show. I mean,
Indeed.
We all know, warm slippers, pre-warmed slippers.
Yes.
You've always been favored to that. I prefer the Ren and Stimpy fez and smoking jacket. There's things that we need, right? Requirements. Yes. Indeed.
Now, there is a topic that I've been dying to discuss live on stream.
Yes.
with all of the good folks watching
Yes.
us tonight on Back to the Drawing Board.
With our research department, our Chris Borman, who is like R&D, who like joins departments together, like Chris Prowse, Chris Prowse, like David Prowse and Chris Reeve. You know, see, that's why we need people like that, because let's face it, I'm a complete idiot. So it's good to have people like that that can link stuff together.
Indeed.
Yes. Yeah. So the full caveat.
Exactly.
You've been waiting for them.
So the exit
I'm
of
waiting for it.
Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh man, hang on a second. Wait a second. I think even though it's not appropriate for, I think we're going to choose a segue for this little news item that we haven't used before. Here we go.
I like it.
Because usually we use the He-Man one. The Transformers segue for that one.
I love it. I love it. Yes, I've been dying to talk to someone about this all week.
Oh man.
The exit of Kathleen Kennedy as executive, or rather president of Lucasfilms.
I did see a lot online. There's been a lot online. I saw someone posted the video clip when the Emperor fell in Star Wars and the Ewoks were celebrating.
I saw that one. That was great.
You know, when they do that, that music.
Like, yep.
Yeah, Yub Nubs. I was singing Yub Nub.
Oh, from Return of the Jedi. That was so good. So yes.
That's big news.
The exit of the evil empire. We could potentially get Star Wars back. I'm just saying.
We could.
All right.
It's interesting.
There was, well, before I get into this part, I want to get your thoughts on that, Will.
On Kathleen leaving?
Yes.
I had mixed thoughts because, like there's been a lot of big swings and misses that but she took a swing, which is good. I think like most people, when you look back, you think there was some Star Wars that I really liked. I got a bit of Star Wars out of that, which is enjoyable.
Right.
But there's a whole lot of derailing of things, and people moved in and out of jobs, and projects that didn't get up, and announcements that never came to fruition. It'd be nice to start getting back to the core of what Star Wars is. And, like she has a history. Like if you look at her report card, which I've heard mentioned throughout the week, she's got an incredible history as a producer, and maybe wasn't meant to be a CEO. Like she did her job really well as producer. Like all of our childhoods were wrapped up in her producer work.
Right.
From Indiana Jones to E.T., like you name it, she was part of it. But I just don't think managing the wars was really what her thing was. It's sad to see people who celebrate so much after 15 years of work.
The thing is, and you know what, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. With the observation that you just made. A lot of our childhood, she's had a hand in like
producing
building up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Indiana Jones, like I think Star Wars was too big.
Yeah. Well, and I think philosophy, like in terms of philosophy, it's just too much for someone that doesn't is not read into that stuff. Like who doesn't understand the Joseph Campbell stuff and all the mythology that's attached to it, and it's linked to fairy tale lore. And I think if you don't understand that, that's a big undertaking, because if you think you're just walking into another Amblin entertainment film, you're not. You're dealing with someone that is one of Joseph Campbell's best students, as called by Joseph Campbell. I mean, you're dealing with something that's bigger, way bigger. And if you think about ships, spaceships, and creatures and guys running around with lightsabers, you're missing what the core of the franchise is about, really.
Right.
It's not easy making a Star Wars film. They learned that pretty quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a big advocate for, if you're coming into something that you're unfamiliar with, do a little homework,
Yeah.
right? Do a little homework, get familiar with it, right? So that what you produce
Mm. Has
is
integrity.
authentic.
Mm.
You know what I
Indeed.
mean? Like
Do the
I do
do
it,
the required reading. Do the
yeah,
required
do the
reading.
required reading. Like I do it as an artist when I get commissioned, right? When I do books for people, when I do cover art for people, if it's something that I'm unfamiliar with,
Yeah.
I do some homework. I do the required reading. I will search up the time period because my thing is authenticity,
Yes.
right? And Will, I'm pretty sure you can agree. You get
Absolutely.
commissioned to do stuff all the time. And
Yep.
and you know what I mean? It's like whatever you before you put brush to canvas, pencil to paper, the energy that you put forth into this product has to be authentic.
Yeah. Indeed. Yep.
It is our duty as creators to be as authentic as possible. That is what gives the creation its value.
Yes.
If you half-ass it, it's gonna show in the end product.
Right.
Now, to
And
that,
it's not like she inherited a franchise that needed saving. Like she
right?
had a fan base that was ready. Like they were ready. You already had pretty much guaranteed ticket sales, whatever you did, right? So it's not like she was under the pump to recover something that died. People
Mm-hmm.
were ready and waiting. You had the original trilogy cast all signed on. Like, come on. Like, come on.
100%.
You know?
100%. All she needed to do was do the required reading.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
think the problem was, and I think I heard this talked about during the week in the Star Wars podcast circles, was that
Mm-hmm.
she was very wrapped up in creating Kathleen Kennedy movies and not Star Wars movies.
There you
You
go.
know, she hired the Ryan Johnsons, she hired the people like that. That like in his own setting, he's not bad, but it maybe wasn't a good fit for Star Wars because he wanted to make a Ryan Johnson film rather than a Star Wars film.
Exactly.
So
Like not everybody is built for this.
no, or
You
wants
know
to
what I'm
be,
saying?
or wants to be.
Not everyone is built for this.
Yeah,
It's okay to be a fan.
yeah, that's
You could
right.
be a part. You know what I'm saying? Like it's okay to be a fan, be a part of the fandom.
Yeah,
And have your nerd moments. That's totally fine. But to take the reins and tell stories in this universe,
yeah,
you might not be built for this. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
Like, and again, this is part of, in my opinion, being a creative. Like,
mm,
I know my limitations. You know what I'm saying? If someone were to commission me to do something that's not exactly in my wheelhouse,
right,
and I can't give them the best possible product,
yeah,
I'm gonna say no.
right.
I'm gonna say no.
Or you're just going to spend a lot of time researching. You know,
Exactly.
like I think of some of
Exactly.
those Kickstarter commissions I did a few years ago, and some were based on gaming properties I had no idea about. Now, because they're
Right.
Kickstarter commissions, they were already agreed to, so I had to follow through. But I
Yeah.
spent a lot of time asking questions, like what setting is this? Is this guy? This guy? How does he look? I needed to know all angles. I needed to know the backstory to create the piece because the piece has got to
Exactly.
stand on its own legs. Like you can't call it in.
Exactly.
Um,
It's got to be authentic.
it's got to be, yeah, it's got to have its own legs. But yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
And I think that is the issue that a lot of the current Star Wars fans
Mm.
like have with what was produced under her watch.
Yeah.
There was that lack of authenticity.
Right.
You know, in the recent trilogy, you know, do you think Luke Skywalker would be a disgruntled old Jedi drinking blue milk?
No, no. But that's
Absolutely not.
no. And I fundamentally disagreed with the way that character's handled. But you know, it's not the story I wanted to tell, and that was proven by how they shifted gears and changed him again in the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
How suddenly he was revered again, and people were waiting for that Luke, that moment when he was coming in as a full Jedi and laying waste to the big Death Troopers, the black ones.
And you know what? I still watch reaction videos.
Yes,
I
yes,
watch reaction videos of that moment because I think everyone knows what they were doing, where they were
yes.
watching that season finale of Mandalorian.
Right.
Watching those
Watching it.
last 10, 15 minutes of the episode, it
Yes.
still gives me goosebumps.
Watching that X-Wing land, and he just comes out of the fog of the elevator with his lightsaber out. And like everyone was like, yes, this is what we were waiting for since 1983. This is
Yep.
the Luke Skywalker that we were meant to see. Like, I understand the story that he was trying to tell, but that doesn't have a place with what we're listening, what we wanted, you know? And I hear a lot of people say, oh, yeah, but that's just fan service. Well, yes, we're the ones buying the tickets. Serve
Exactly.
us.
And you know, at the end of the day, there was the theme of deconstructing our heroes. The
Yeah.
deconstruction of heroes just to uplift others.
Yes.
Or like to shove new ones down our throat.
But I mean, the show where Disney has course corrected, and you can see this is quite evidently, right? Because you always got the subtle reappearance of what Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau did in Mandalorian, but now you've got suddenly Luke Skywalker appearing at Galaxy Edge at Disney parks. So they're starting to re-embrace the original trilogy stuff rather than whitewashing it, which I think I felt like was a bit of a mandate there for a while.
It's smart.
It's like, why would you? You got a built-in fan base. But
it's smart.
Chris Borman says, I say all the time that there are leaders and there are followers. Not everyone can be a leader.
There it is.
Correct, Chris Borman.
There it is. I think it came right down to what it came right down to. The stories that she was attempting to tell.
Yeah.
The people that she was hiring to tell said stories weren't versed in the IP. They weren't built for it.
And they weren't experienced filmmakers. That's the big problem. Like,
and there's another fact. Now, J.J. Abrams, I will say, I like J.J. Abrams.
Yes.
Right? I'm not going to.
He did a decent job on Force Awakens.
He did. And you know, I'm not gonna completely crap on everything that he did, because his trilogy had some really cool set pieces.
Yes.
Okay. I think I mentioned this like last week. It was like it was a series of set pieces.
Yeah.
That really impressed me, but it wasn't like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like the original,
right?
The original trilogy from the 70s and 80s that, you know, you're invested in the little subplots.
Yes.
You know, I think that's where the writing in the recent trilogy like lacked, right? Because they were trying to tell something fresh and new, but it didn't feel like it was Star Wars. It felt like an alternate universe.
Yeah. I think JJ was given an extremely hard task. I think he had an idea of what he could do, and then people got involved. And they're like,
Right.
we want
No,
this
I
included.
agree.
We want this included. You need to put this in there. And he's just like, what?
I agree.
And I think that's been a biggest issue for them as a company, is like dealing with that stuff a lot, But, they live and learn. Hopefully they're learning by ticket sales and things like that. But, yeah, I think that there'd have to be some serious questions being asked, I think, about what's
They
going
have to.
on.
Oh,
Yeah.
they have to. At this point.
Like, I mean,
At
we
this
haven't had a
point.
Star Wars film. We haven't had a Star Wars film since The Rise of Skywalker.
That's true.
So that's a long time.
That's true.
So we got The
That
Mandalorian coming out next year, I think it is. So that's going to be exciting.
yeah, that again, it was that, like, and I looked back. I looked back and I looked through everything, and it's like, even with the Acolyte was a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
I felt like they had an opportunity there to do something really, really unique, right?
But they
And
spent the time deconstructing the Jedi, just like you said. Like, I think
there you go.
if you just leaned into, if you like the Acolyte, I think in its premise was fantastic. The idea that you could spend an entire focus series on the dark side, I think that's awesome. That sounds good.
Yes.
But they, and I think when I look at the series now after watching it a while ago, the villain in that was good. I liked him. I thought he was
Mm-hmm.
good. I think all the other things that they tried to cram in that show just convoluted that story, But
100%.
again, she's not an experienced filmmaker, so it's and since then she's left the film industry to go do other things. So she, when you're dealing with a property like that, you're dealing with Major League Baseball. You're not dealing with like someone's backyard pitching game. Like it's
Oh
it's
yeah.
the real deal, and they're handing it to these kids that don't quite have the, like the new lady that's taken on the Ray film. Like, she's a YouTube documentary maker.
Nah. That's
So
yeah.
what
See,
what do we do? What are you doing? Like,
exactly. What are you doing?
what are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Chris
You know
Bowman
what I
says he
mean?
likes that Ghost Yoda came back and scolded Luke. Yeah, and blew up the library. Yeah, that was great. Smacked him on the
Yeah,
head with a
dude.
stick.
Like, again, great set pieces.
Yeah,
Great set pieces. Like, there was like the scene where like, this is how forgettable the characters were,
yeah.
right? Through the through the Abrams trilogy, right? The scene where that starship like does hyperspace right through the Star Destroyer.
Oh yes, with the lady from
That was an
Jurassic
awesome
Park.
scene.
Yeah, yeah,
That was an awesome scene. I was like, oh, okay,
yeah,
all right. Or
yeah.
I think it was in was it in Rise of Skywalker where Kylo Ren and Rey do the team up, and they start like killing off these Imperial guards in the big red room.
That was in Last Jedi, I think. That was when they were tag teaming,
Yes,
and
great scene.
When Snoke was killed, when they killed Snoke.
Right.
Yeah,
Great scene. Right. As far as set pieces, there were some memorable ones.
yeah.
But
There's no,
cohesive, like, storytelling,
the stories just weren't there. Like, they were great music video clips, but they weren't really good
yeah,
stories. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That it was like a highlight reel, but
yeah.
nothing that would make me sit down and like watch the whole thing again.
Right. I've actually been watching the Star Wars films from beginning with the kids,
Yes,
and we just finished Rogue One last night, so we're
great
moving
film.
sort of sequentially in order. Rogue One is probably, again, that's one of the films under her banner that was fantastic with Gareth Edwards.
Yes,
Love that film. It's probably one of my favorite Star Wars films. But,
great film.
But
yeah. On the average though,
yeah, the
you know what I'm
batting
saying, like, it's
yeah.
pretty low.
Yeah,
it's pretty low. You know what I mean? Mandalorian, great series. Season 1, absolutely spectacular.
right.
The way it ended was garbage, right? I think You know, they did the same thing with Boba Fett. Boba
Yeah.
Fett should have been what Mandalorian was.
Right.
You know, like
I don't
don't give me
understand.
old soft Boba Fett.
Yeah. I don't understand why they didn't do just Boba Fett instead of Mandalorian.
Like I get
Like, why did they? I don't understand why they went. Unless that's that further thing to push away from the old stuff, but I don't understand why they didn't do a Boba Fett series. I just don't get that. Like, and I don't understand why they didn't put IG-88 in there instead of IG-11. Like, there's
yes,
choices made that I'm sure there's reasons behind the scenes of contracts and rules and story groups that I have no idea about. I mean, like I said, I'm just a guy at a drawing board. But
right.
but to me, like people going, is that Boba Fett? Like, is that no, it's not. It's a different dude. But Boba Fett's going to appear. Like, I just don't.
Now, you know, now this is what brings me to my next point.
Okay.
With her exit, right? I think now we have a bit of an opportunity to tell stories that people really want to see.
Yeah.
Okay, and I sent you this video when I saw this. I think it was earlier this week.
Yeah.
Right.
Amongst
One of
many other videos.
yes. Will is, ladies and gentlemen, Will is that person that like I send, you know, a lot of like meme video that like only guys like us in our profession in the things that we do, like in our age bracket would understand.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So one of those things, right? Now I'm not 100% on, but you know, one of the things that came up in that video was a solo Darth Vader story,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
No brainer.
No brainer, right? A Darth Vader story that's totally focused on him, you know, and the dealing with the loss of Padme. It could be from any point, you know, um in the Star Wars timeline.
Hunting the Jedi. All of that.
Hunting the Jedi would be awesome,
Yeah.
right? Now that was one of the things that I did enjoy from the Obi-Wan
Yeah.
series,
Yeah.
right? That fight with Vader. I did
Yes.
enjoy that. So, you know, a solo Vader film, no brainer. That's, you know, out the gate, even if it's bad, out the
Right.
gate first weekend. That's gonna make bank,
Yes.
right? I had this discussion with my kids earlier today in my class,
Yeah.
right? And when I said they should do a Yoda film, but Yoda in his prime,
Mm.
that's printing money.
Yes.
Yoda in his prime?
I think the Mace Window one too was interesting. The
Yes, the Mace Windu one as well.
Crazy Mace.
Like
scary, crazy Mace.
exactly. Exactly. Because we've seen glimpses of what
Mm.
these characters can do in other movies and other IPs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now imagine Yoda. The way Yoda was doing all the flippies and stuff fighting Dooku. And he's old. He's
Yeah.
old doing all these flippies, right?
Yes.
Imagine Prime Yoda.
Prime Flippy.
You know, like Yoda with a full head of hair. You know what I'm saying? A full head of hair.
Listen,
You know what I'm saying?
we all remember the days of hair.
Oh man, Prime Yoda?
Yes.
They can have my money today. You know what I'm saying? Like Prime Yoda? Like a
And then
Prime Yoda film would be amazing.
The other big one you had on that list that you sent me was the Knights of the Old Republic, based on the
Absolutely.
video game. Now that
Absolutely.
I know that that's one that they actually have in development. They're actually working on that, so that's going
A
to be
Knight,
interesting.
yes, because that is a whole chunk of Star Wars history that hasn't been touched.
Yes, and I played that game to death when it came out. Like I was all about it.
I read the books. I read the Dark Horse books.
Yeah.
And that was another thing that made me so mad when Disney made
Right.
them non-canon.
Yes.
Because those books are so good. So good. And like it was through those books that I discovered that like Skywalker is a blip,
Yes.
just a blip in like the
I,
mythos. There were Jedi that were far superior than
I
the
just
Skywalker.
wanted just give me some of that the Sith background. That's what I want. I want Plagueis the Wise. I want Malbus.
Hell
I want
yeah.
all those cats that were talked about. Give me more of that. We're joined
Absolutely.
by Angel Manuel Lopez, Kenny the Man.
Angel, what's up, buddy?
You've been announced, Kenny the Man, the Mayan. I just hear that crazy woman off Roger Rabbit. Remember? It's a Mayan.
It's a man.
It's a Mayan.
Oh man. So yeah, like so much untapped potential, so many missed opportunities, right? Instead of
Yeah.
like milking the Skywalker, mythos,
And
right?
some
Like
no-brainers. Like no-brainers. Stop trying to make auteur movies and do some really good storytelling. That's it. Like
that's
Chris
it.
Borman says, seriously, every Crazy Show movie comes down to a bad script. The producers and directors are responsible to put the brakes on if they don't have a good story. Yes.
Indeed. That like you know what else I'd like to see? I'd like to see how General Grievous got all those lightsabers.
Yes. Indeed. That'd be great.
Like, show me that.
Yes. All the
Like,
days of the week. Show me that.
that's
I would watch what Lucas was planning to do with it was Star Wars Underbelly or something. It was called Underground. Like, give me Dengar and IG-11, IG-88 and Forlorn and Zuckus and all
there
those
you
bounty
go.
hunters. The bounty hunters on the bridge of the Star Destroyer. Give me those dudes. I want to know their story.
Yes.
How did Dengar look like he's from the Valley of the Lepers with all the bandages? Like, don't do me in a comic book. I want to see it on the screen. I want to see actual what happened between him and Han Solo. Give me the real deal.
Exactly.
Give me a Bosk. Where's my Bosk?
Yeah, dude. Like,
Give me a Greedo backstory. Give me a story about the gangsters like Jabba the Hutt and all of that stuff. That's what I
all
want.
that, dude. That could be a cross between Star Wars and Goodfellas.
That's what I was about to say. I was literally about to say he's gone. He's gone. I know.
God.
Where-
Right? He's gone.
Why did you smoke?
Translation.
Why did
He's
you
gone.
smoke old Greedo? He's just gone. He's just gone. I don't know.
You know?
Greedo's gone. I don't know what to say.
Give us more of those obscure Jedi that like didn't get a whole lot of shine in that new trilogy. Let's
Bit
get
of
some
Kit
Kit
Fisto.
Fisto in there.
Yes, the smiling kid.
Give me more Kit Fisto.
Yes. Give me the Jedi Council in their prime. That's what I want to see.
You know what I'm saying? Like back when
The
the
dude with
Jedi
the long
were
neck.
out there, like really, kicking ass.
There's so much that they could have mined for those stories instead of saying let's just reinvent the wheel. But yeah, it's interesting. But then we don't know. Like we don't know if there's a directive from Bob Iger to say you must start new content. We need to have our own Disney created stories, not Skywalker. So I don't know. I mean, it made no sense to me that they didn't get George Lucas as consultant. I mean, he offered his services. Like, why would you say no to that?
Right.
There's obviously other stuff going on that I don't have a clue about. But yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Like that's so disappointing.
But I
Third
think
is
on the eve of like things like Universal Studios opening a new park up, I think with
Yep.
film franchises taking off, I think they're hemorrhaging a bit, and they probably needed to do a bit of a reset.
Yeah, it's
So,
necessary. I mean, look, Quinlan Voss. It's one of my
yeah,
favorite. That's one of my all. Listen, I will preach the gospel of Quinlan
yeah,
Voss. All
yes,
right, I love that character.
yes.
And has he had like a legit like outing? No.
No,
In the Dark Horse books, he was a beast. A
give me
beast.
an extended film on Darth Maul. I want to hear. I want to know all
Boom.
about Darth
Another
Maul.
one. Yeah, like yeah, some
And, and,
backstory, some history on that guy.
and his brother with the yellow spikes on his head. That guy. No one talks about him.
Yes.
He's just gone. Like Chris Borman says, pretty soon you'll refer to Kathleen Kennedy. You'll be able to say she's gone. She's just gone. I don't want.
Pretty much.
I don't know what
Gone.
happened.
Gone.
She's gone. I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like there's so much that they can do with Star Wars, especially now
Right.
that they're not tethered to. Well, I'm not gonna speak out of turn. I mean, because maybe they are tethered to like how you mentioned. We need to do like new properties. We
Yeah.
can't keep harping on the same stuff, which I get, but it would be new properties to the general audience, considering that not everybody picked up the comics, not everybody read the novels.
Right. I think
You
that's
know
the
what I
thing.
mean?
You can't count on the comics to cover bad storytelling in your films. You can't count on
That's
them to
right.
draw the cracks in because not everyone's reading those. I certainly think they've got their place for sure because we are comic creators. I'm not going to say otherwise,
Right.
but you just can't replace one medium for the other and expect it to do the heavy lifting for you, but not honor it.
At all. At all. 'Cause it's like, there was so much really good material, especially in Old Republic. There was so much good
Oh
material.
yeah,
So much good material that they just slept on it. They just slept on it and decided, we're gonna just ignore this, no harm, no foul, and do this.
yeah,
But this was crap and it failed, and so let's wake up. Let's wake up and like do what the Godfather of this universe had intended.
right.
Let's tell these epic stories.
Yes,
Let's go beyond the Skywalker mythos. Let's because there were so many really good and unique Jedi.
yeah,
And to be fair, that was one of the things the Clone Wars did very, very well.
right. They expanded that stuff. Yeah,
Absolutely. Like I'd like to see the Lost Tales, like what happened
Mm.
after Order 66. What
Yes,
happened, how many, like, let's confirm how many Jedis are still alive.
because when we were kids, it was just Luke. Luke was
It
the
was just
last.
Luke.
No, there is another, but no one ever actually mentions who the other one is. I assume it's Leia, but maybe it's not. Maybe there's another. But when we now we're in this era where every man and his dogs are Jedi running around out there with Ahsoka and all the gang. I'm like, where were you? I'd be angry if I was Luke. I'd be like, where are you cats? I was on my own out there. I was
Exactly.
getting double teamed with the Emperor and Vader. Where were you dudes? We could have won it in 10 minutes.
Pretty much. I lost a hand.
I lost
I lost a hand.
I lost a hand.
I could have still had my hand.
I'm part robot. Han Solo got frozen for years. Lando's weirdly running around the galaxy wearing his clothes. Where were you guys? Leia got dressed up as a slave, like she was a slave to a gangster, and you guys all were doing what? Oh, you didn't feel good? You didn't feel good?
You got a boo-boo tummy? Boo-boo tummy?
Get with the plan.
I lost a hand while you were complaining about your boo-boo tummy.
I literally got fed to a Sarlacc pit. All right. I'd have a few issues. Is Ahsoka suddenly rocks up and goes, "Oh, here's another Jedi to train," and he looks like Yoda. Where were you when I was dealing with the original Yoda? Where were you? When I crashed on a swamp planet and I got nearly eaten by a Wampa on the Hoth planet, where were you?
Jesus.
You know? Oh, another lost Jedi. Cool. You know, where were these people? You know? Jiminy Cricket.
Telling you. This has been a hot button topic for me all week.
Listen, that whole Jedi thing's been bothering me for years. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, I'd be a bit annoyed that that I got sort of had to get caught up in this galactic war when you cats were just hanging out in hiding. Like, what do you mean?
Exactly. Trying to save your own skin. I was out here, forming a revolution.
Exactly. Well, it's no wonder she's gone. She's gone.
That's it.
She's gone.
That's why she's
So
gone.
overall, the reign of Kathleen Kennedy, I think, was very interesting. We got some good product like Rogue One. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'd give her a pass. I'd probably, if I was doing a report card, maybe a C minus, maybe.
Yeah, the averages don't add up, dude. Like,
because I don't think she's that responsible for Mandalorian. I think that's really been Filoni and Favreau's puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think that's been her call of fame, but I could be wrong. What do I know? Yeah. I just brush the paper. Watch the movies.
That's all we do.
That's all I do. Speculate.
That's all we do. That's all we do. Yeah. So
now I'm Bunny Rubble.
That's it. That's all we do.
Hey Fred, what are you doing?
Right?
How's that painting going in the background? Man, she doing it.
Good. I'm just kind of like layering in some darker hues behind him, so he like pops out a bit more. Now I'm gonna drop some browns on the motorcycle.
Yep.
And push some white mist, right? Keep it kind of ambiguous, but I still want to be able to identify the motorcycle here. And then I'm going to work on the mace and detail the chain that's in the foreground.
Yes.
So we're in motion.
We're kicking along.
We are.
Big thank you to everyone joining us at the moment. I know our numbers have been increasing while the stream has been happening. So we are back to the drawing board. We are doing this drawing challenge weekly and changing the topics up from week to week. This week we are doing Invictus, which is a battle drawing challenge where we have two random names spun on a wheel that we pick and or that we get delivered to, and then we are to create a scene where they are post-battle. Yes. So we have Hawkgirl and Ghost Rider this week. And Kenny, do you want to talk about where these items will be available for purchase if people like them?
Yes, all images, all pieces that we do here on Back to the Drawing Board will be available in our respective Etsy shops. Will's shop is under the same name that you see there on your screen, Art of Will Playton. Mine is Wilding Studios, spelled with a Z. And if you're looking for commissions, we also take the commissions through those respective channels and answer any questions along the way.
Perfect. I've had a few people requesting Star Wars trading cards. I can't do those. I'm sorry. I can't do that. I'm very sorry. But no, we can't. That would be in direct violation of the contract.
Indeed.
That I signed at midnight on the crossroads. But they promised I could play guitar well.
We could also do a wheel, or you know what? No, No, I got it. I got it. We can leave it up to the audience to pick what we illustrate on the sketch cards.
Yes, I think that's good.
Right?
I think we talked about that last week a bit too, didn't we?
Yes. We
Yeah.
can take a poll
Uh-huh.
on Instagram, on Facebook, what have you, on what we do for the sketch cards, right? And you know, those that participate in the poll, you know, can purchase the sketch cards at a discount.
Right.
You know,
I think
to
that's a great idea.
sweeten the pot just a tad.
Indeed. So what else is news, Kenny Calderon? What else is news in the world of comics and entertainment? Have we heard anything else coming up besides the Kathleen Kennedy news, which has caused a lot of stirring? But what else is going on?
Well, Gene Hackman passed away.
I saw that. I was devastated, actually. I thought that's sad. Like, he was 95 or something, but I think
Gene
circumstances
Hackman,
are still unknown why.
yeah,
Bit of mystery involved there.
a little bit, man. Gene Hackman passed away. He and his wife.
And dog.
Yeah, and dog. Yeah, like what a scumbag, whoever they were. Like
Yeah.
to even kill the dog. That's wild.
Yeah. Do you think it was that? Do you think someone took him out, or do you think that was an accident, or do you think maybe it was deliberate on their behalf?
Nah, you know what? It's hard to tell because Gene's never been tied to like any real big controversies.
No.
At least not in the public eye that I'm aware of.
No.
For that to be like, you know, and
And
he's never been like he's never been like Randy Quaid, like you know what I mean, like Randy Quaid is out there, you know, talking about cryptids and the aliens and lizard people and the government and all, you know what I mean?
I love
Like,
that about Randy Quaid. I love that about Randy Quaid.
you
But
know what I mean?
on
Like,
what you're saying too, he's never been at a Diddy party. Like, he's never been part of that realm.
yeah, like he's gone full tinfoil, right?
Yeah.
He's gone full tinfoil hat, you know. So
Yes.
like for guys like Randy Quaid, like I can see it, right? But like, you know, like I can understand why. You know what I mean?
I saw that coming a while back, Randy.
Yeah, like you know, I understand, right?
Yeah.
But you know, Gene's been quiet for decades, bro.
Yeah. Well, he retired. He retired a while ago.
Yeah, Gene's been like he's been living low key, man. I think
Yeah.
it's based on that I feel as though it's probably like a home invasion gone wrong.
Oh, really? Yeah.
That's my like
That you're,
my
that you get.
feeling.
Yeah. That's a
You know
bit
what I
sad.
mean?
If that's what's happened, that's very sad.
I think it's like home invasion just gone awry. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because you know it came off of the you know the fires and all that, and you know
I don't even know where he lives. Where does he live down that way, does he?
I think he's out west. Let me confirm that. Hold on, where did Gene Hackman live?
I was only just watching him the other night. I was rewatching Unforgiven. I was watching that the other night, and he was.
Great movie.
I said, "Geez, he was just so good in everything he did." There was never.
Oh, he lived in Santa Fe.
Oh, there you go.
He was in New Mexico.
Okay, righto.
But man,
Yeah,
I
poor
don't
old
know.
Gene.
That's my
Rest in
take.
peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, Gene Hackman, dude, the legend.
Chris Ballmer says the Poseidon Adventure was the first movie I remember Gene starring, and he was great in that.
Yes,
In everything. I don't remember anything he did that was lousy.
100%, 100%. Everything that Gene was in, like he shined in.
Yes.
You know, What's this one? Shoot, it is on the tip of my tongue. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. But Gene's a legend, man. R.I.P. to him. Condolences to his family. Um, that's a big loss. I mean,
it's a big loss, but he had a full life too. Like
he had a very full life.
Yeah,
very full life, a stellar career. You know, was it Hunt for Red October? No, that was Sean Connery.
Are you deep diving right now? Are you online?
Crimson Tide. Crimson
Yes.
Tide was the film. Like
Yes.
that one, that was the Gene Hackman movie for me. Like
he was a submarine commander, wasn't
he? Yeah. That was like prime Hackman.
Prime Gene.
Yeah.
I always loved his westerns. Like I loved Quick and the Dead. I loved
Quick and the Dead was great. Yes.
I loved him in even his part role in the Kevin Costner Wyatt Earp film. Like it was all good.
That's right.
Yeah, it was all good. Yeah. It was all good.
That's right. Man, I'm looking at some of the movies that he's been in, man. He's been in some heavy hitters, man.
Enemy of the State from a vet. Enemy of the State was great.
Yes, that's right. Enemy of the State. French Connection.
Yes, French Connection. And don't forget Mr. Luthor.
That's right.
Mr. Luthor.
Mr. Smart.
I still laugh at that scene where his test marker, when Luthor has laid out his plan for what he's going to do to California to create himself some oceanfront property. And test marker says, but my mom lives in that location. And he just looks at the map and goes, no, not anymore.
No.
He shakes his head.
She doesn't live there no more.
Sorry, not sorry. Dre Studios is with us. Evening, gents. Welcome, Jack.
Oh,
welcome to the fold.
Yes, indeed. Dre Studios,
who has been ripping out some amazing card work lately. Have you seen that stuff, Kenny?
I have. He also spearheads Sketch Card Wars. So if you guys haven't followed that channel, do so immediately. Right? Yes. Sketch Card Wars. Right? I think he does that. What is that? Every third Sunday?
I think so. I saw you on that episode. Actually, I watched it. It was very good.
That was, yeah, man. I was on there. I had a blast, an absolute blast. You know, it put me in that that competitive kind of mindset, right?
Yes.
I mean, it hasn't. It's not often that I get put in that position, right? But it was a lot of fun. You know, there was some really talented guys that were in the stream that day, and man, like.
And you did the alien piece, didn't you?
Yeah, I did the Xenomorph, and like
that was fantastic.
I sold it like right after the stream was done.
Oh
like,
man!
Someone shot me a message and wanted it immediately.
It was a beautiful work, and I think probably the fastest and most looser artworks I've seen from you, and it looked amazing. It looked really good. Well done.
Yeah, and I really enjoy. Thank you, by the way. I really enjoy doing pieces like that, like being put under the gun of a time limit. You know, of a time limit to to bang out, you know, a piece like that. It's like a really good like circuit training for an artist.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I saw it as like as like boot camp, like that boot camp training.
I suppose it goes back to the old days of drawing from life drawing,
Yes.
where you
Oh
get
yeah.
time frames per pose. I remember when I was doing that at uni for a while there, you had 10 seconds to draw a figure. You had 20 seconds to draw the next pose. And like you had to have a certain amount of drawings by the end of the class or you were behind. So it's good to challenge yourself that way. It's good to have those muscles built.
Absolutely.
Gray says there's a standing invite for both of us, Kenny. There you go.
What? I'm down.
Yeah, let me know
I'm
when.
down. I'm down. You let me know. I'll come back. I'll come back as many times as you want me to.
The return of Kenny Calderell.
I had a lot of fun. And I don't know, there was there was a little bit of an adrenaline rush. I'm not gonna lie. Gave me a little bit of a adrenaline shot, like
Yeah.
Because the piece came out, and this doesn't happen often, but when it does, it feels like the plan finally came together, right? But
yes,
Xenomorph came out really dynamic, very energetic, right? The ink was flowing, the colors were hitting the way I wanted it to, everything was like harmonized when I did that piece, and it felt really, really good, because I didn't want to embarrass myself live on the street.
not like us here every week.
No.
That's hilarious. This is the evening of the invites. We've had both him and I quote now throw an invite out us to Kenny. It's feeling the love today, which is nice.
Oh yeah. No, both really, really great channels. So those of you in my YouTube audience and in my Facebook audience, please give these guys a follow. You won't be disappointed. And I quote is a great pop culture channel. He does Let's Watches all the time, and he brings on like different guests from different pop culture fields, right? And
Indeed.
Dre Studios, he spearheads Sketch Card Wars, which is a relatively new channel. So we want to get those numbers up for them as well. Dre is a fantastic artist and painter. And he brings in the creme de la creme. He brings in the creme de la creme onto Sketch Card Wars to duke it out on sketch cards. It's fantastic stuff.
No, from what I've seen, it's fantastic. I haven't seen it as much as I've seen as his work, but his work is next level professional. Like you want to talk about being inspired when you're doing trading card work. Go check out his reveals. They're amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Like sometimes I look at his work and I think, how do you get that background? How
right?
did you do that?
I think the same thing sometimes.
How did he do that?
I think the same thing sometimes. When he flips the card over, he flips the card over. I'm like, man, that's crisp.
Yeah.
like that's crisp. It almost looks printed.
I've been vocal on my own when he's turned the card around. I've gone, what? How did he do that? No way.
Right?
What?
You know what I mean? Like
did he use an airbrush?
It looks printed. That's how clean.
So clean.
Dre does his work. It looks like it's printed on the card, and he's revealing something that he just signed on the back.
It looks like a painting. I know he is painting them, but it looks like a painting you'd buy as a canvas work. But He's got it to the size of a card. I'm like, how did you do that?
Crispy, real crisp work. I aspire to be that crisp, Dre. I aspire to be as crisp as you, sir.
Yes. Indeed. And been a big supporter of our Masters of the Universe challenge.
Absolutely. He actually won the Man at Arms.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yes, he did.
The Man at Arms head sketch that you did. And what was it that I did on the sketch card for you, Dre? I don't even remember, dude. He said Krispy Kreme is his takeaway.
I think that's your new handle. I want to see a donut for your thumbnail now, Dre.
That's it, Krispy Kreme.
And you did Doom, Kenny. Doom.
Ah, that's right. I did the Doom.
You can't lose with a Doom.
Oh, Doom is such a fun character to draw.
Yeah.
Such a fun character to draw, dude. That's like I'm gonna be doing a couple of Dooms in these next
the next run
in these next couple runs. I got a Guardians. I got what else do I got here? Guardians. No, that's Disney. What's this other? Boxes on boxes out here. Oh, and Mint Marvel.
Ooh.
Mint Marvel. I think I haven't even cracked that box open yet. I'm assuming that's like a high end.
Yeah.
That one's got
Sounds good.
It's got a little star next to it.
Oh, that's going to require a bit of gouache action on that one.
Oh, you already know. Already know, sir. You already know. It's got a little gold star next to it. I'm like, okay. Top tier.
Yes.
A very
nothing like opening that box and it's premium quality and you just give yourself the slow, quiet nod.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I like you hold the card up to the bottom of your nose and you take that one deep breath.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
That's
you and I are gonna dance.
That's premium. It's puro. It's puro. It's pure.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, man. I love it when those boxes, drop in and it's like it's the card stock is prime.
Ooh. Oh man. Yeah, when I opened those Galactic Antiquities, they sung. They were just amazing. I was like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, no, I could tell by looking at what you produced.
You just know this is gonna look decent because I'm gonna have good quality card to work on.
Oh, I could tell, dude. Like I could tell that you were having a blast painting those. Immortal Ideas, welcome, Seth.
Yes, I love that title.
Indeed,
it's great.
Yeah, dude, I could tell that you were having a blast painting the antiquities because it's like everything felt so pristine. Everything felt like it could jump off the card.
I did put more time in them, I suppose, and because of the size and the premium cost to them. But like you've got it, they're bigger cards. Like of course you're gonna spend more hours on that thing,
Absolutely, absolutely.
But they're fun stuff.
I think that's easily. I think that was some of your best work.
Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate that.
Easily some of your best work. Like we've been buddies for a few years now. I like to think that I've seen a decent amount of your stuff.
Yeah.
And I think with the antiquities and with the horror piece that you're working on right now.
Ah, yes, the Monsters Icons one. Yeah.
That is there's evolution there. No, seriously, there's evolution there. That we got to know each other like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Right? Now I would compare it to what you were doing 2 years ago. What you're doing now, I would compare to what you were doing 2 years ago, and I think that you can see the jump.
Right. Well, that's good to know. I appreciate that. It's nice to think that I'm evolving.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
What is it they say for artists? That they say that practice doesn't make perfection, just improvement. So you
That's
want to make
right.
sure you're progressing. Yeah, that's good.
You know, that's what you want, dude. Like, you know, if you're not doing it to evolve, you know what I mean? Like,
And what are you
what
doing?
are you doing it for?
Yeah,
You know
it's
that, and that's one of the things that I'm really really grateful for. Like with meeting different artists that work in
right.
different styles and different art forms,
Yeah,
right? Because I borrow from everyone I meet.
yeah. That's the whole guys, isn't it? The artists are the greatest thieves in the world. That's what it was. It Picasso said that. I think it was.
I think so. Yeah, 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 yeah. Dre says he's a big fan of your recent Phantom pieces.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
Yes, I'm
those
working on one at
Phantom
the moment.
pieces. Were,
Actually, working on a large cover design at the moment, a painted piece, and I'm sort of changing it up a bit for this one. I'm working on canvas for this cover.
nice.
So and acrylic paint. So just going back to
Ooh,
different thicker medium. Yeah. So I started laying those down. The editor accepted the thumbnail concept, so I'm straight into the paints now. So that'll be dropping in a couple of months, I believe. So that's
love it,
exciting. Yeah.
love it.
So yeah, it's fun doing those classic pulp characters for sure.
See, no, no, and that Phantom one, that Phantom cover that you did, that was beautiful.
The underwater scene. Yeah.
Yes,
It's always interesting when you do something like that because you're dealing with such a funny color of his costume anyway. Like his costume isn't straight purple; it's got
right,
a lot of blue in it. And
right.
but then when you're doing it underwater, you got to tint it, so it's even more blue. You know.
Now,
So
now, with regards to that, Will, I'm gonna pick your brain.
sure, pick away.
Now, obviously, there's ways to do it digitally where you can just kind of,
Yeah,
create the mood, right?
sure.
Now, in cases like what you did with the underwater scene for the Phantom cover,
Yeah.
how did you handle that? Because you didn't just go straight purple.
No,
Like it feels like the Phantom was underwater, and like even like the skin tone felt cooler. Like, did you
yeah,
add a tinge of the blue?
that's right. So because I always have Prussian blue in with my or Delft blue if I'm using
Hmm.
oils. I'm
Right,
always got that blue in my raw sienna and my skin tones anyhow.
right.
All I do is I just tint it to that extra angle, so I have more blue in it rather than minimal
Mm,
blue.
right.
And sometimes it's a case um, where we're using those Kenny Calderon Coppertone Brown registered
Yeah, buddy.
2024.
Yeah.
I'm using that with a bit more magenta in the shadows, so
Ah, yes.
it's that
Okay.
it pops the blue way more. In fact, I
Right.
think I've got it here. Just give me a sec. I'll go grab it. Let's see. Here we go. I haven't got the back one because I sold the back cover, but
Right.
here we go. So you can see his face. He's got a little bit
Okay.
more of that Prussian blue in the skin tone.
I see. Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
there we go.
Now, did you do an underpainting for this or no?
No, no, no. So I went straight in. So I didn't have time between approval and final piece to do a burnt umber underpainting. I just went straight into it.
Dre is asking if this is oils.
No, this is gouache, straight gouache. So it's a bit of reflection happening because my light's coming through the window here,
Hmm.
but there you go.
Man, that's fucking gorgeous. Look at the bubbles. Woo!
Little bubbles come out because I wanted it from the perspective of the submarine looking up.
Yeah.
So you can see the boat behind him. So there's the surface of the water up there looking down.
That's clean.
And yes, and that's gouache. It's yeah, it's all this stuff, the stuff that we're doing every week, but it's on a larger scale. That's all. Like the monster
That's
books.
clean.
It's, yeah, so this next one's going to be a little bit different too because it is a moonlight scene,
Oof.
but it's using acrylic, so on canvas, so you get a different effect because you get the weave of the canvas coming through, which is nice.
Right.
It's yeah, there you go.
Man.
And the back cover was, you know, a montage of World War II sort of scenes because the story was set in the war in London.
Right.
And that scene was set in the other story in the book where, and it's all up to the editor. The editor chooses what they want. So
right.
he says, I would prefer this story to be on the cover, this story to be on the back, or you can do, you know, the story that's on the cover as a complete wraparound. So I have choices. So, which is good. It's nice to have choices.
That's awesome. I want to be like Will Clayton, ladies and gentlemen. I want to be like Will.
Anyway, so
when I grow up,
it's fun to do. I mean, but every time you do something, you get to a point where you go, look, I would have done that differently, or next time I would have done. And that's why you experiment. You try different things, and this is why I went and bought out some canvas paper, and I thought I'll try some canvas instead.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Not only to speed the process up, so you're not sort of worried about cornflaking the page, but it gives you a little different quality of paint on there as well.
Right. Now, I know that gouache has been like your go-to medium in all the years I've known you.
Right.
How does it feel to use acrylics for something like what you're doing for this cover?
It's not bad because I mean gouache has been sort of more of a contemporary medium for me. Like I like it because it's a nice it's an in-between drawing and painting with gouache. And
right.
For me, I sort of picked it up when I was illustrating Cul-de-sac, the horror book. And so for me, it was my way of coloring something and giving that nice sort of watercolored effect. And I was hugely inspired by Kingdom Come and Marvels at the time. So I wanted a similar sort of effect, but my own way of doing it. And so gouache was a nice medium for that because it is a drawing medium. But I come from the world of oils, you know, like that's where I was. So, so when I drift to acrylics, I teach acrylics all week long. So it's not that big of a jump for me.
Right.
But I mean, all of those things, including gouache, I mean, it just depends on your lifestyle around that. For me, gouache suits because I don't have to have an oil painting set up in the studio all week long.
Right.
With gouache, it's an easy, quick setup, pack up. I can, as a dad, I've got that stuff down to a T now. I can set up, pack up. I can reactivate the paints if I need to.
True.
It just becomes a way more convenient medium to use. Same with the cards. The cards are good because I can get a nice fine detail without too much glugginess or chemicals. I love oil. I love oils, but sometimes when you're doing with small details, like painting with butter, it doesn't always allow you to, you know, to get to where you need to at that small scale. So, Dre said, did you say cornflake in the page? Yeah, I call it cornflaking, Dre, when it starts to buckle and weave like the shape of a cornflake.
When it starts to cornflake and it begins to peel up.
Yeah. And just buckles and bows. It just looks like a cornflake. It's just up and down. So, oh no. Welcome to our. Where's a vet with our vocabulary list? This is welcome to the ever-growing vocabulary list of Kenny and Will.
Indeed.
So I'm just doing a bit of ripped action.
How you doing over there, Will?
I'm just doing some of the ripped action on her clothing. And just putting in those tones around her leg. I've just put in that dark sort of Terminator line that runs along the leg there, just in the outside part of her thigh, just so we get that nice feeling that there's a turning, and just allowing that reflected light underneath to give that feeling that it's bent under. Grey Studios, I'm stealing that. It's all good, son. If you want to take that, you go for
it. Dre knows we don't gatekeep. We don't gatekeep.
Yes,
We share and share alike.
We're all about the democratization of art knowledge. That's what we do here.
Indeed.
Back to the drawing board.
Indeed.
Yeah, so that's what I've been doing now. And I'm just dropping that bottom leg into a bit of shadow, just to tint it back a bit, and to get that sort of leg sort of feeling a bit of tension under there where she's got the leg bent.
Yeah.
I imagine she's a bit tired and sore after battling Ghost Rider for hours.
Yes.
And a bit depleted. But even when I was drawing this, Kenny, I was like, oh, I'm going to do her up here. The wing's going to be out here. It's going to look great. And I said, whoa. You're going back to the hero stage again. No more hero stands. I keep going to this iconic. I want to do an iconic, beautiful, romantic-looking Hawkgirl.
It's the knee-jerk reaction.
It's got to be posted. For me, it's a real stretch. I'm really struggling with that part because I want to do these iconic characters feeling powerful and cinematic. And I was like, no. That's not the design brief.
Yeah. It's the knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
Right? Like, go-to is to, show the subject in some prominence. As opposed to show them, in a defeated or closed off sort of gesture.
Yeah. Yes, I the one thing, my little side mission was to not have a classic sort of Marvel pull-out double page spread section of the iconic stance.
Right.
I wanted something a little bit different just to see what we could do.
Yeah.
Event said it's not going to be a glossary of terms. It's going to be its own book.
That's it.
Kickstarter. That's it. It's going to be a Kickstarter.
That's it. Soften a bit of this people.
Are you going to do any heat sources on that bike, Kenny? Because it was on fire and stuff. Like, you going to have any glowy effects?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna go in there with some heavier bits of gouache, so that I'm gonna set it up with some white, like the white ink, hit the yellow gouache over it, so we get like the ember sort of effect.
Nice.
Right? Sort of coming up off the wheels and stuff. That's why I left a bit of negative space in the tire tread, so it feels like a lot of it is like cooling down, or it's lost the fire.
Nice.
And
love a good ember effect.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite things to paint.
Yeah.
Like fire. I did that like just experimenting on an old Marvel set that I got commissioned to do on Upper Deck, and Ghost Rider was one of the characters that I had to illustrate. So I'm like, man, how am I going to approach this? And I sat and just like we talked about earlier on in the stream, if you're not familiar with something, do some homework.
Yes, did a deep dive.
I like looked at images of fire, like photographic images of fire, right? Or images containing fire, like burning trees or houses or something, like bonfires, and and it's like I sat there and I looked at it, and it was like, there's hits of orange, there's browns, right, in fire, and it's like, dude, that's it. Yeah, the hits of white, like that stark white. See, even Dre agreed. Like Ghost Rider is super fun, super fun. That ever since I tried it that first time, Ghost Rider is easily like one of my favorite characters to illustrate, to paint.
Yes.
One of my favorite characters to paint because of the fire.
I agree. I think the last time I did a Ghost Rider was on the podcast with, what was the name of it? The Bitten Apple. I did a live Ghost Rider on that, and it's just so much fun to have the flames licking around the head and the skull. Dre's asking,
Oh yeah,
what is the correct approach? Glowing eyes or blacked out?
I
Right.
glow the eyes. I make the eyes glow. I mean, you know what? It really depends on how I'm feeling, because sometimes the fire is enough.
Yeah.
But if it like for the intensity, for the added intensity, I would make the eyes glow. I'm gonna make the eyes glow on this one.
Right.
I just want to get
Yeah.
like the nice. I want to get a good like shape in the eye sockets here.
The last time I did one, I didn't do the glowing eyes, but there was enough ambient glow from the fire that the eyes were like, the sockets were like a red, orangey red anyway.
Right.
So all of my shadows pertain that glowiness. But yeah, I didn't do that. Maybe I guess in my brain he wasn't doing the penance stare, so I left the glowy out of there.
Right.
There you go, Vet. There's another one. Glowy. It's got to be the two glowy words speak next to each other. That's double
There it
glow.
is.
Just
Glowy glow.
For you kids playing at home, double glowy is double the glow. All right, glowy.
See, that's on it. You know, she's back from her hiatus and she's on it immediately. I like it. But yeah, I like to, you know, I don't know. It depends on how I'm feeling or how intense I want him to look.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him the glowing eyes in this one though.
Yeah. I think it's warranted. Like, look what he's been through.
Of course. You know,
I do love that the anger of your Ghost Rider depends on how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Not really feeling angry today.
You know,
just at peace with the universe, and I've just had a turkey sandwich, so we're just going to have one glow, not glowy.
Yeah. Moderate glow.
Moderate glow. Mild glowing. Mild.
You know, you got a little bit of this washed out copper tone brown.
It must be an Aussie term. I don't know about that. I think it's more of the art teacher that's been locked into a classroom with heavy fumes for too long term.
Indeed.
We're going to make some glowy kids. Paint it with glowy. What's wrong with Mr. Plain? We don't want to talk about that. We opened the door and it smelled like terps in here. That's all I'm going to say. Now, I was in a bit of a conundrum with her arm pieces here, because I get a mixed viewing of what happens to Hawkgirl's arms. And the original Hawkgirl by Joe Kubert didn't have as much of this, but the arm wraps became a later sort of iteration of her. I never even realized she had arm wraps. I didn't pay attention to that.
Yeah.
I think in the animation she had gauntlets or like gloves or something. Like hand bracelets.
I think it was gauntlets. Yeah, no, she had gauntlets. Like very similar to what we did last week with Tila.
Yes.
She had gauntlets.
Tila.
But I do like the wrap. The view of like, you know, seeing her like wearing like the wraps on the arms. I feel like that gives her more of a grittier like look.
Yeah. It's almost like boxing wraps around the
right.
glove. Yeah, interesting. It's just going to do her clothing pretty shredded up the top here. Like Ghost Rider's been going to town on those chains.
Yeah.
And the clothing's just barely hanging on. Talking about Hawkgirl, I just saw a still image of Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan during the week from the new Superman movie. I thought that was interesting.
Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan, huh?
Yeah.
Now, this is...
look pretty good.
Now, from the Superman movie or the new
Yeah,
GL series?
maybe it's from that. I don't know. It's from something that they're producing at the moment. I thought they're in both, but I'm probably wrong about that again. But it looked good though.
Because I know that the GL series is what's coming out. Like the GL series is going to drop before the Superman movie.
Is that right? Do you know what month
Yes.
that's happening?
I'm not sure. I know the Superman is releasing over the summer, so I think we're gonna get that in the spring.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, see, Chris and Dre say that's from Lanterns. That's gonna be
Right.
from the series.
That's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that comes together. Because do you think people are going to be able to forget the Ryan Reynolds thing?
I think they forgot it already.
Therapy's
Forgot it already.
been amazing.
Yeah. I think that's been forgotten. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they're done with that. They're
deleted.
reminded of it because he keeps bringing it up.
Yes. It never happened, Trace. It never happened. Not gonna happen.
Right. But I'm interested to see what James Gunn did with Lanterns. I mean, he did promote it like it would be like a buddy cop um sort of procedural
Oh yeah, cool.
kind of deal, right? You know, just obviously more intergalactic, right?
Yeah,
And I'm all for it,
it could be good. It could be
you
good.
know. I
Something
think
good, something
it's
interesting.
what we've been missing with, like, you know, some of the Star Wars stuff. You know, let's
Yes,
get those intergalactic gangsters in there. You
right,
know, some real threats. That's not the Empire.
right.
You know.
Indeed.
Where did I put my wallet? So you think we're gonna need to do one more session?
I don't know. I'm going hard on this. Let's judge it from where you're up to, because I'm a bit behind because I did a reshoot. Really,
Sure. I personally I think that we could do one more session.
around 3. Yep.
Yeah, because I inked my Ghost Rider.
Right.
I want to add some more heavier blacks into the mace, right?
Uh huh.
I want to intensify some of the shadow here.
Yep.
And then I gotta do the chain that's on the ground. Like, I can add some deeper values into the motorcycle that's been toppled over, but you know, I want a lot of that is gonna be some gouache hits, right?
Yep.
For the like the seared embers kind of, you know, cracked into aspects of the bike, some steam.
Yep. And are you waiting for yours to dry? Is that what you're telling me? Like you've got to let yours settle for a bit?
I might need to let it. Yeah, I might need to let it settle for a bit.
Gotcha.
Gray says Superman is slated for July 11th, as long as they sort out the legal stuff. And Lanterns, I believe, is slated for 2026. Oh, okay, I stand corrected.
Okay.
I remember reading an article some time ago saying that, like, Lanterns would be like what sets off, you know, the gunverse, right, for DC.
Yeah. Right.
But I'm cool with Superman coming out first. You know, that's what they're gonna do.
I feel confident that James seems to have his head around it all though. Like it doesn't. I don't feel like it's going to be mishandled.
No, I think he's got a good handle on it, dude. You know, and again, based on what I've seen,
Right.
based on what I've seen so far, like, I haven't been disappointed.
Right. Okay.
You know, like creature. I love Creature Commandos.
It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, I put my son-in-law onto Creature Commandos, right?
Oh, did
So
you?
like, yeah. So this is what happened, right? Right. I'm watching my granddaughter, right, and typically she likes to come into Papa's room,
Yeah.
You know, she comes into the room. She goes, "Papa, I want to watch on your TV." And you know, I
Yeah.
got a big like 64-inch TV in the room, right? Because you know you got to go big or go home, right?
You got to do what you got to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a Saturday.
Papa doesn't muck around.
No, Papa doesn't. You know, because I game on that TV and I don't play. Right. So I was waking up from a nap and she's like, you know, she comes into the room. She says, "Papa, I want to watch on your TV." And I go, "No problem, Mama." You know, so I sat her on the bed, you know, and I forgot what it was. I had fallen asleep watching Creature
Uh-oh.
Commandos. I had fallen asleep watching Creature Commandos.
Right.
Right. And she had come into the room to ask me to watch something. So like she woke me up. But
Yeah.
then I was like, "Mama, what do you want to watch?" And she goes, "I want to watch this one." And she pointed to what I was already watching.
Yeah.
Right. And she said, "I want to watch this one as in the moment of one of the most violent scenes in the series." You know,
Could have been worse. It could have been worse. There were
you
worse
know what I
than
mean?
that.
It's like the Frankenstein monster like ripping somebody in half.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I want to watch this one, Papa." To the
Yeah.
point that my son-in-law comes to pick her up. Right? They get home and he sends me a text. He goes, "Hey, what was Layla watching when I picked her up?" I was like, "She was watching Creature Commando." She was like, "She just asked to watch it." Right? She said, "I want to watch what I was watching at Papa and Abby's house." Right? So through her, he started watching the series. You know,
Yeah.
so sounds like Papa was a roller star. Listen, dude, you know, we gotta put this new generation on to some good stuff early. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So that they develop like a taste for it. You know what I mean? Like my son was a little older than my granddaughter when I put him on to Justice League Unlimited.
See, that's a pretty safe show. That's pretty safe.
For
There's
sure,
no wild. There's no wild love-making scenes between the Bride of Frankenstein and.
This is true. This is true.
I don't know.
This is true. Right?
Listen,
But you know, she's
we're only
3.
going to visit Popeye every now and then because he's a little bit loose. He's a bit
You know what I mean?
loosey-goosey.
She's 3 years old. You know what I mean? Like none of that's gonna like register. Like you know what I mean? Like she's not gonna register what the heck is happening on the
Well,
screen.
look, we watched some pretty loose stuff when we were kids. And
Oh yeah,
look at us, we're fine, right?
totally fine, totally fine. You know what I mean? Like I remember there was this one scene from Phantasm.
Yeah.
That stood out to me as a kid. Right? And it's the scene where the kid is trying to escape the place where the ball you remember you remember Phantasm with the ball and the blade, right? He's trying to escape the guy in the turtleneck.
Yeah.
Right? And
those
the
turtlenecks, you can't trust them.
Yeah, sideburns, parted hair, and a turtleneck. You can't trust.
Gene Hackman. It's pretty Gene Hackman.
So the guy grabs the kid and the kid bites him in the forearm. You remember that scene?
Yes, I do.
The kid bites him in the forearm and like this yellow liquid comes out of the forearm.
Yeah.
So that scene stood out to me. It left such an impression on me, Will, that I wondered if yellow stuff came out of my forearm if I were to bite into it.
To this day.
Because it looked like and it was like bright yellow. It looked like egg yolk.
Oh, that's funky.
like when you make eggs like
Yeah.
over easy or sunny side up, you know what I mean? And you
That's
bust
a
the yolk.
cadmium yellow running out right there.
Ooh, like the
that's heavy
Cadbury
duty.
eggs. You remember the Cadbury eggs?
They're wrong. What whose bright idea was that? Was that Kathleen Kennedy as well? Like, whose idea was that to make those eggs?
I blame Kathleen Kennedy.
I want I don't want an egg to look like an egg. I want it to be chocolate. Like,
Yeah. I blame Kathleen.
Are you fool? Are people fooled? Are people fooled into thinking that hey, this is a real egg? I just bought a real egg and I'm going to eat it whole raw like a chocolate.
There you go.
Well, where's the thought pattern in there? I don't get it. I never got it then.
I don't think they thought. I don't think they thought that one through.
I want to be in the marketing meeting when they discuss that.
You know, I feel like that has that. You know, that's the solution to a lot of the things that we see nowadays.
Yes.
That like this like no one asks questions in the marketing.
No one's asking the questions. There's no.
I don't think anyone's asking the question. It's like, all right, so wait, so you want this candy egg to open up and
pretend to be real yolk
burst in the mouths of these children like they're eating a raw egg just made out of chocolate?
Yes. Right?
That warrants the guy to ask him the question. To stand with whose man's is this?
There's no guy on the other side there's no guy on the other side of the table that takes his glasses off slowly and looks down, frowning, and goes, "Wait, explain that to me again."
So you want this candy egg?
Give me a kid. Give me a real kid to eat this now. I want a live reaction. Any kid, just that kid. I think you're right. No one's asking these questions. We go through this a lot, everyone, especially when we're doing the Man at Arms, the He-Man stuff. We have a lot of questions about costumes.
Yes,
we have a lot of questions.
No one's asking these questions. It's like how does Batman get away with it for so long? No one's gonna ask where like Batman get all the gadgets from. Like obviously, it's gonna be done through Wayne Tech, right? So like it's like the accountant from like The Dark Knight.
Yes.
He was asking questions. He's like, so wait a minute, you got the schematics of the Batmobile, like and you just assumed like no one was gonna like make the correlation. I want $1 million for the rest of my life.
Right. Good call. Except then Morgan Freeman was like, well, good luck. And then then the next scene, you see the guy nearly get himself killed because he announces that on live, like, Ricky Lake or something is on. He announces on The View. He gets on The View and announces it. And then they're allowed to kill him.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like they knew that was going to happen to him. It's pretty dark.
Yeah, Chris said when I was a kid, the family had went to a double feature at the drive-in. 50 years later, I don't remember anything from the cat from outer space. But Clint Eastwood's The Gauntlet sure made an impression on me.
Yes. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Look, Chris, I had a very similar experience about the drive-in. I have no idea what I saw when I watched some of the original Planet of the Apes, but I remember Blue Lagoon.
There you go.
It's amazing what sticks in your brain.
Was that Brooke Shields?
It was Brooke Shields.
Mm-hmm.
But what were my parents thinking? Mm-hmm. That's probably more the big question that pops out of that whole thing. Like, what were you thinking?
Mm-hmm. Brooke Shields.
What were you doing? Mm-hmm. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. Dad, did you choose this one to watch? Did you? Dad, was this your choice of?
Look, you'll thank me later, son. Trust me, you'll thank me later.
Dad's top 10. Like, what were we doing? Like I remember saying in the 90s, Dad, I know you're not watching Baywatch because you like the ocean. I know. I know, Dad. People know. People know about you.
Not in front of your mother.
He didn't even care. She'd be drifting in and out. There's no guilt. Just watched it.
Oh, wait, they're running in slow motion. Shh. Quiet.
This is the David Hasselhoff theme song. I've got to listen all the way through.
Oh yeah.
Too funny.
Some people stand in the darkness. Afraid to step into the light.
You just can't do that kind of TV anymore, can you?
Nope, no, they can't. Not in this day and age.
Nope. But I did like Creature Commandos, but I got to admit there were scenes in that I did not expect. I was like, oh, I'm glad I wasn't watching this with my kids.
Yep. Lots
Well, I
of stuff in
didn't
there
expect that. Didn't expect that at all.
Oh no.
But,
No, sir.
I liked the Dr. Phosphorus. I thought he was pretty cool.
Yes. You know, I just didn't like how they did the fish girl. I forgot her name.
Yes. I thought
You know,
she didn't do much the whole thing, really.
At all. Because like every episode, like each one of the commandos had like an episode to shine.
Yeah.
You know,
And
to
hers was a
shine in.
flashback.
And it's like she, you know, the one episode where like everyone's like counting on her to like, you know, pull something off, she dies in it.
Yeah, so the last time I spoke to you about this, you hadn't seen that last episode. And of her, you were like, oh, you know, it looks really good. You hadn't seen it. And I didn't want to reveal anything. And I was like, I wonder what he's going to think when she's tarped over.
See, look, Chris has just reacted. Brooke.
How old are my kids? I got a lot of kids. I have 7 children. And my oldest child is 24. And my youngest is 9. So in between there is a mixed age group of kids, and but yeah, like I don't know if they were ready for. I was a bit shocked. I wasn't quite ready for it myself. I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing in this cartoon. I thought labeled DC. I thought it was pretty safe, but I was not expecting that level of late night television. You know what I'm saying?
DC After Dark.
Yes. Yes. I was not expecting that. At all.
Oh, well, you know, welcome to the Gunverse.
Yes. I did like that he chose to put himself in as an animated character on the credits. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was very cool. That was very, very cool.
Helps when you got a massive crop of amazing white hair.
Right?
Quite the crop.
like a really intense cowlick, just like almost like a Gumby.
The biggest cow just cannot lift his head. Like. Alrighty, so how are we feeling? We're at the 2-hour mark. Did you want to give it a rest for next time, or?
Yeah, I gotta let this set for a bit because otherwise I'm gonna start pulling paint up.
It's gonna get damp. It's a bit damp.
But I was able to render a decent amount in the background.
Yep.
Right. So now we can see the motorcycle. That's the exhaust pipe. We got the wheel in there, the front wheel. You got a little bit of the handlebar, like silhouette in the front there. So now really it's just rendering a bit of the ground in front. This chain that I have skewed over by the mace. Right, and then get the floating embers, right, and then add a little more detail rather to Ghost Rider's head.
Yep.
And then drop some inks in there. I think I'm just gonna keep like the stuff in the foreground inked.
Yep.
And then leave the motorcycle possibly just outlined so that you know it's sort of like pushed back.
I like what you've done inside the skull's mouth. How it's a burst of flame in there.
Yeah,
I think that's created. Yeah, man, that's got a really nice ambient effect on the outside of the skull. I like what you've done, and where you've outlined where the hinge of the jaw is, where it's yellow and orange there with the grey. I think that's fantastic. Yes.
So this is a bit of a warm. It's kind of a warm gray, almost brown.
Yes.
Right.
See with that intense white in that little tiny section next to that sienna color, the orange.
Yes.
I just want to see more of that. More of that. Beautiful.
You know, that's what I'm saying. I love painting Ghost Rider. I love
Yes. Yes.
painting Ghost
Well,
Rider. Painting fire is just so much fun.
On our Invictus wheel, there's lots of Ghost Riders. So I put the
I
Wild
like it.
West Ghost Rider. I put in the Danny Ketch. I put the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. So I've even put the Smokey and the Bandit Ghost Rider. There's a lot on there.
Nice.
So, but
Nice.
there's like, to be fair, there's like 500 choices. This could keep us going to the day we die.
Nice. Nice.
Very good. Do you want to do a lead off for our next show next week?
So next week we're going to start our sketch card challenge. All right. So make sure that you follow us on the socials. Right. Our screen names are on the bottom of your screen right there. Right. On the Instagrams, on the Facebooks, and so forth. Right. I'm going to be putting out a poll as to what you guys would like to see done on the sketch card. Right. So I'm going to pull this out again so that you guys can see what you'd be getting, right? Dre Studios had gotten a Dr. Doom done on one of these, right? So this is the Wild Inks branded sketch card, right?
Yes.
And it's a very, very thick cardstock, as you can see. Will has his as well.
Yep.
So
I've got mine
we're
on there as well.
going
Same deal. Nice and thick.
Yes. There you
So
go.
it's illustration board,
Thick.
sliced illustration board, ready to go.
Thick with two C's.
Ready to go. Yes.
Ready to go. Thick with two C's, ready to go. Right? So I'll put out a poll. So you guys in the audience choose what Will and I do on the sketch cards. Now, based on whatever wins, you know, like for anyone that participated in the poll, right, you guys would get a discount as to like what we would sell off the sketch card for, right? So look for that this week. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram. And yeah, so next week we start the sketch card run.
Make sure you click on subscription and notifications on YouTube so when we start the live stream, you know it's beginning. It gives you a big shout out.
Indeed.
Well, Kenny, that's it for this week. I reckon we'll leave that. And just a reminder too that when we finish with this, all of our works do go up for sale onto our Etsy shops. What did we decide on our final result with this? Were they $100 pieces? Is that what we decided?
I believe so.
Yeah, $100 pieces. So very reasonable for prices. And eventually they will be getting to publication, but that might be a while away with these ones. We'll really be closer with our Masters of the Universe than these ones. So join us this next week as we go back to the drawing board. In between time, please have a great week. Look after each other. And Kenny, I'll see you. Oh, what's that? We've got a late entry. Chris Bowman sounds like Master Use will never. Chris, listen, Chris. Chris,
you're an instigator. Why?
I think you fear the final product. I think you fear that we're going to be leaving you, Chris, but we won't be. There'll always be something that we will invent. We will be back to the drawing board. All right. Have a great week, everyone, and take care.
Indeed.